The Institute, episode 4 review. Man, things got really brutal this episode, but then we got introduced to some new characters. These two twins, Greta and Greta. Weird. One is duh and tuh. Very odd. But then there's this other kid that goes by the name of Harry, and he just comes off as like a douchebag, and obviously he's very upset about being put in the situation, even goes as far as attacking or trying to attack Avery. And Nikki ain't going for that. He's like, bro, just apologize, calm down, and we'll explain what's kind of going on here. And finally Harry's able to kind of calm down once pretty much Nikki punks him, and he pretty much lets him know what's going on. Before they can, tell him anything more, he has to go meet Julia. And it's also in this moment that Avery realizes that Luke he's a TP, and they gotta keep that under wraps, because once they find out he's a TP, he's going to go to the back room. Meanwhile, we have Tim really wanting to look into and investigate Annie's death, but here's where everybody kind of shows their true colors. He's not really paying attention, and I really don't trust Wendy, because everybody's like, there's nothing really you can do. We don't want to really spend the money to kind of look into it. It is what it is. She died of an overdose, even though he's making the case that she never drank or anything like that. And nothing is really adding up. So then we see a scene of Hendrix going behind Julia's back and doing the whole PC thing and doing what he was told not to do. But they really put him through the ringer with this dream box where it's just a bunch of images and stuff like that. And he comes back to his room. He's just a little out of it. But Avery's like, look, I think I can reach Shah. And this was really cool how they kind of connected through the subconscious and whatnot. Avery, however, gets spooked, and so the connection kind of breaks. But then we get this scene between Julia and Luke, and I really feel like at this point that Julia is going to kind of flip sides and join or just help Luke and all of them try to escape. So then we see Tim go to Wendy's house, and he feels like this is the only person I can trust with this information, and shows her that Annie couldn't have possibly done this. And they start to look in the yearbook, and this is where they start to kind of get really close and a little touchy-feely. And I feel like this is all about Wendy's plan to kind of lure him in, distract him, woo him, and get his mind off of Annie, or try to at least distract him enough. So let me know how you guys feel about that. So now we get to the most brutal scene of the entire series thus far, where we see Luke kind of just sleeping, but then it seems like he's having a dream about Harry, and Harry's just kind of freaking out, and this whole time he's just been kind of out of it. And he takes a weight to one of the twins, and I'm like, fuck, that's brutal. But then come to find out, this is Luke just looking into the future, like he has observation hockey or something like that. So the next morning or the next day, Julia kind of addresses that, and you can kind of tell that she's kind of fed up with this. And I think this is kind of her breaking point, because she can't trust the people that she's working with. And now I think Luke and them are kind of having an effect on her. Who knows? I definitely think that Julia is going to switch sides eventually. We'll have to wait and see. Anyhow, we get to the last few scenes of the episode, where we have Avery and Luke kind of talking about everything, and Luke asking Avery, have you ever just like predicted something before it happened? And before he can really answer or go in depth, you see Tony pop up, and that whole situation of him kind of walking in on Harry smashing old girl's brains in, you know what I'm saying, that's a dead giveaway that he is a TP. And so they kind of snatch him up and try to interrogate him and force him to confess, because once he does, they're going to send him in the back half. Julia finally confronts Hendrix about just his kind of snakish ways, I should say, and says like, you shouldn't be doing this and I should report you, but I'm not. I'm curious to see where this relationship goes. And so the episode ends with Luke going back to his room and Avery popping up, and then Avery gets some information from Maureen, what's her name, the cleaning lady, and finds out the location of the back half, or just a little bit more information, and that's it. But overall, really solid episode. I think it's starting to kind of pick up where it needs to. Like, Tim's got something to do. He's at the Institute, so I'm curious to see how far that goes, what characters are going to side with who, and just all these little tidbits that we've been seeing with their powers, I think are going to give us clues on how they're going to escape. I'm excited. Let me know how you guys feel about this episode in the comments below. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.